I
All
do
right.
that every time.
You're good.
All right. Thank you guys for calling in tonight. I'm so excited for this. I think most of you know I'm in London and it's 1 a.m. here, but he pumps me up so much, honestly. So Keith is my upline. Well, all of our upline. I do have a few friends on this as well that are coaches in a different upline, but Keith Callahan is my coach's coach. And honestly, from day one, I found him to be so inspiring. Every time he speaks, he just lights this fire within me in this business. The coach training, the coach basics training that I did when I first came on was run with him, Liz, Colleen, and Brad. And yeah, I mean, everything that comes out of his mouth, I just was like, it just makes sense to me. And it's so powerful. So I think does a really good job at simplifying things and kind of making it easy to understand and, you know, tying in like what you need to be doing every day and what that means to your success in this business. So I'm really excited to have him as a guest speaker on the call, and I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Thank you so much, Keith, for having us.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Heather. And
Yeah.
it's an honor to be on here. You guys are a new 5-star diamond team with Heather just hitting it, and really like know and understand it really is a team goal. And one of the coolest things about that is it's also a duplicatable goal. So awesome that Heather just hit that. And now I'm sure there's going to be plenty of you who are on this chat on this call right now. Um, Real quick before we get started, how long has everybody been coaching and what are your ranks? So if you want to just fire it into the chat, just so I have a little bit of a background on who we have on the call and whatnot. Hey, April and Diamond already. 7 months Diamond, 3 months Diamond, 2 years, 6-star qualifying Dara. Who's Dara? Dara, I don't know you. All right, Heather.
I'm one of
Dara is one of my Success Club partners that I asked to join. But Dara, you can speak up too.
I'm one of Heather's friends. Nice to meet you, and thank you so much for letting myself and my team join on and listen
Yeah.
tonight.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you guys learned something. It could be a big, hopefully I don't disappoint and it's not a big flop for your team. Hi, Jude. All right, 7 months down. All right, cool. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time today, and really the title of this call is there's one thing that all 5-star diamond and above coaches have in common, and really it's essential for your success. So we're going to talk about that one thing and really how you can apply it to your business to ensure your success. And one of the things that we're going to do a little bit different today is I only know how to teach one way. Like I only know how to teach you to build a big, enormous, massive business that is paying you hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and you don't have to work anymore. So like if this is if you're sort of newer to Beachbody coaching, I'm going to apologize in advance. This may overwhelm you a little bit, like it may be a little bit over your head, but I believe that I threw those things out there because when I got started, and I'm not shy about this, I got started in this business as a father supporting his family, and I got started to make money. Um, as a I had already gone through, I had gone through P90X. I had great results. I lost 30 pounds, got in the best shape of my life, was referring these products to friends and family before I was a coach and helping people to go through the program before I was a coach. And then my sponsor kept continuing to try to get me to sign up as a coach. And in all honesty, for the first 6 months, I wanted nothing to do with this business opportunity. And it was because I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the power of what it is. And if there's anything that I'd like to get out of this call tonight, it's really 3 things. The first thing is I want you to believe that you can do it. And what I mean by can do it, I want you to believe that you can build the type of business that Heather is building, that her upline Liz is building, the type of business that Dara is building. So we have, you have these amazing leaders, and then you look at some of the other people who have achieved great success, right? And we look at them, and a lot of times we think that somehow they have something different. They have this like something different inside of them that that we don't have the same sort of natural ability and natural talent. And we lean on that as an excuse to settle for mediocrity in our life. And I want to repeat that. We lean on that excuse because it gives us permission to settle for mediocrity, right? And that kind of stings when we look at that. It's like, dang, that's kind of right. And I was in that position. I'm going to talk a little bit about my story, but 3 things that we want to get out of this. It's that you believe that you can, that you actually start doing the work necessary to achieve whatever that goal is, whatever that big, hairy, scary goal is, that goal that you really don't even want to put out there because you know that you have to become something different in order to get it. So believe that you can do it, start doing that, and then ultimately achieve it. So I oftentimes when I'm teaching, I really like to just take a moment and say, write this stuff down because it's all going to come together in like a nice, big, beautiful package in the end. But sometimes when I'm going through it, you may be like, what the hell is this dude talking about? So the first 3 things: believe in you, start doing it, and ultimately achieve it. Now, in order to leave the call doing that, we really have to answer 3 questions. The first question is, can I do it? Right? And I think that going through and explaining a few things today, it's going to help you to understand, yes, you can do this. The second question that I want to answer is, what exactly is it that you're doing? Because I hope that after this call, that you're going to look at your business a lot differently. So can I do it? What is it that I'm doing? And then how do I do it? So if we answered those 3 questions very clearly, do you think that we'd be on the path to sort of be able to really run with this business? All right. So can I do it? And here's what I think the easiest way for me to let you know that you can do it. It's because I've done it. And I want to tell you a little bit about my story. When I was in the 7th grade, I was always an athlete growing up, and I was playing baseball, playing football, playing basketball. And I had a father who was very driven. And the only way to get approval from my father was to be good at sports. So that's naturally what I did. Like I was naturally good at all these sports, but there was no love aside from that. And it was my dad is a full-blown alcoholic. Like in my family, beer is not alcohol. Like you can have, like they'll drink beer all day long. Beer is not alcohol, but he drinks like heavy alcohol at night. Whole entire dad's side of the family, heavy alcoholics. Whole entire mother's side of the family, combination of alcoholics and enabling wives. Do you guys know what I mean by like an enabling spouse? So you sort of get the picture. There's no love in my family except for the unconditional love of, if you're good at sports, you're loved. Make sense? So when I was in the 7th grade, I came home from school one day, and I had some friends who were already in high school, like they were freshmen in high school. And I don't know about you guys, but like once you got into high school, you always knew that older kid who could buy beer, right? Like there was always the older person who could buy beer for you. So when I was in the 7th grade, I got my hands on my first 6-pack of beer, and in my bedroom at night, drank my first 6-pack of beer. And that started, and again, this is in the 7th grade. So it really turned into, that was once or twice a week. I would like steal stuff from my family or get somebody to buy something or something like that. once I got into high school, it was full-blown 3 or 4 nights a week getting drunk. Got into high school, was the starting quarterback for the football team, and during my freshman year, by my senior year, I was actually worse than I was my freshman year. Senior year, got kicked off the football team right before the Thanksgiving Day football game for coming to school drunk. Went into college, all through college. Started blacking out like 3 or 4 nights a week, like waking up in the morning and not remembering what happened that night. So, and I'm giving the really abridged version, as you can imagine, with this much drinking and alcohol, and there were drugs involved, and no real heavy drugs. It was really pot, mostly pot, mushrooms a few times, and all the way up till now. I'm 22 years old and a senior in college, and I go away with a group of guy friends to Mardi Gras, and it was sort of the rock bottom, like fully hit rock bottom. I got alcohol poisoning. I got sick from every which way for 3 straight days. Couldn't eat, couldn't hold down water, like the whole 9 yards. I thought I was going to die. Like I literally thought I was going to die. I got myself so sick. After all of that, so that was the last time I ever got drunk. Since then, I have had drinks, but I've never been drunk since that point. So this is when I was 22 years old. But what happened once I started sobering up, I realized really quick why I was drinking was because I was an insecure, ego-based male adult who had no idea in the world how to deal with any of his emotions, how to receive love, how to give love, how to like any of the positive, like gratitude, compassion, love, understanding. And I didn't have any of it. Like literally, it was not. None of that was taught to me as a boy or as a young man growing up. So once I stopped drinking, I started having these crazy panic attacks, started having anxiety all the time, crazy depression, never to the point of suicide. And I think the only reason it never got to that point is because one of the really good traits my father instilled in me was like this ability to never give up and to always like fight, always work. So there were some good traits that came through that, but I share all this because when I mean I hit rock bottom, I couldn't sit in a car and drive down the road because I would freak out, have panic attacks. Like it was bad. It was just really, really bad, and a really dark 5 years of my life. And I started going to yoga event initially, and that was the first time in my life like I felt like I could actually breathe, and really got like fully dove into that. And one thing led to another. I went to an intense 2 years of therapy, like heavy hardcore therapy, 2 to 3 times a week. And then I finally found a spiritual path that I've been on for the last 10 years. And when I'm sitting here now, I'm literally a different person than I was 15 years ago. Like not like I improved with some things, I got a little better. Like I'm talking totally different DNA. Everything about me is completely different. And I want to share that because prior to, like, when I was going through all that stuff, there's no way I could have talked on a call like this. There's no way I could have stood up on a stage and talked to other people. There's no way I could have gone to all of my friends and all of my family and asked them to be a part of this, because not only would people not respect me, I didn't respect myself. Like I had no business doing any of that. And, I see Susan, like a ton of people can relate. And you know why I share this story? Because sometimes people say you too. And there's nothing that feels better when you're like, oh, okay. So, and you know, it's sort of my mission in life now. To be honest, like you guys are all on my downline, Dara's team not on my downline. Like it doesn't matter. Like what I'm here to do with Beachbody is just to help. Like our family's totally made it. Like we're totally set. We don't have to work another day for the rest of our lives. Like that's how much how many gifts have been brought in from Beachbody, like how much income we've made from Beachbody. So I say all that to answer that first question that you may be asking yourself, and that like we have to get through this hurdle. Can I do it? Because the can I do it, the until you answer that here in your heart and you believe it, you're never going to do it. Never. I don't care how many shares you do. I don't care how much work you do. If you don't believe in this, is a business of people following you. It's not about Beachbody. It's not about the products. It's not about the business opportunity. It's about you. How attractive are you? Not in a physical sense. In a, I want to follow, I think it's all women on here. I want to follow that woman, right? That's what this business is about. And that isn't physical, because you can, like, it's so true with men too. Like you, like as a woman, would you want the Ken Barbie doll looking guy who's insecure, not confident, like has all this shit going on, or a more average looking guy that is totally stable, that's going to support you for the rest of his life, for the rest of your life, right? Like it's not a question. That's what I mean about the attractiveness. That's what people are looking for in this business. And here's the beauty of that. You can develop that. Is it going to happen overnight? No. Like this isn't a get rich quick scheme. Beachbody is not a get rich quick, like it's just going to happen type of thing. This is a get wealthy over time, busting your butt. That's what it is. The opportunity is here. Every single one of you on this call has the ability to build a business that can change your life. Hundreds, even thousands of people underneath you. It can change their lives. It can change your family's life. It can change generations. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that too, because that's what I believe this is. This isn't a, we go out, we sell a challenge pack, something like that. This is the ability to literally change a life. So can I do it? Yeah. The question isn't, can you do it? The question is, are you willing to do what it takes? That's an important thing to write down. It's an important thing to ponder on, because you can do it, but are you willing to do it? What does that mean? Are you willing to do a program fully? Right? Like in the beginning, when you're building your business, you have to commit to doing programs fully. Not 90%, not 99%, 100%. Not the workouts, but not the, you know, I'm just going to do the workouts, but I'm not going to do the nutrition. Like that's the type of commitment, and then committing the same way to your business. And you can start wherever you are. I also want to bring up one other thing, because I think it's really important. A lot of times we have real excuses. I'm a single mother. I'm not good at sales. Whatever, like name it. I have anxiety. I have panic attack. Like I can't do this type of thing. Like I could have sat with all that, right? Here's the litmus test. Has anyone in the history of the world ever been in your position and succeeded? And if they have, your excuse isn't valid. And it kind of sucks to hear that, because you're like here's the honest to God truth. You've got to dig deep to make this business work. Like really, really, really deep. And you have to have this love and passion and commitment and fortitude. Here's another beautiful word to write down in this business: fortitude. And what does fortitude mean to me? Fortitude doesn't just mean like discipline or doing things like consistently or doing all your work. Fortitude means that you have the discipline, you're doing the daily activities, you're doing what you need to do, even when it gets so insanely tough. Even when, if you're committed to do an hour a day and you are up for 3 hours at night with the kids and you woke up in the morning and you can't, whatever's going on, fortitude is you keep going no matter what, right? Does everybody understand that about fortitude? That's what it takes to build this business. Fortitude. It doesn't fortitude, and really it's like the last man standing. It really is, because it's a lot of people come out like gangbusters in this business and then they fall out. And it's that fortitude. It's doing it over and over and over again. All right. So what is it that you're actually doing? And this part is going to be a lot different than probably a lot of stuff, unless you've been on some of the stuff I've done. And, Heather's also been on some of the stuff I've done and some of the stuff Liz has done. So it may sound familiar, but when you're, again, the only way that I know, like, I feel blessed because I'm really good at building leaders in this business. Like, if there's one thing that I'm good at, it's building leaders. I'm awful at recruiting. I'm awful at running challenge groups. I'm awful at working with people who don't really want to go after it. But I have this gift for helping leaders develop. And here's what I believe, that not only what I've believed, but it's, so Heather and I were chatting. We now have 27 5-star diamonds and above in the downline. Was that it, Heather? 27, something like that. Somewhere between 20 or 30. And that's a prideful thing. And probably like 6 or 7 of those are just so we have this page and it's Bob Lucido and myself. So like 6 or 7 are on his left leg, which aren't under me. So I probably have like 20, I just want to make sure I'm clear with that, like 20 people underneath our team. And so what does that mean? Like it's a group of people who have gotten to the point that they're like all in. They're all in with Beachbody, right? And here's what I believe this business is really about. And here's what I've seen: real time, real people, real transformations. I believe this business goes like this. You get healthy and fit, right? Like, that's how we all get in here. We have an experience with the program and we get healthy and fit. Here's what most people do. They help others get healthy and fit when they become coaches. And then that's it. And then they continue to keep themselves healthy and fit, and they continue to help others get healthy and fit. If you don't take anything from this call, besides this one piece, this can change your life, what I'm about to teach over the next 5 minutes. Here's how this business works when you work it correctly. You get healthy and fit. You learn how to help others get healthy and fit. And then some of them are going to decide that they want to jump in and do what you're doing. Now, most people never make it to this point. Once that happens, now you're going to teach them the second step. You're going to teach them how to help others get healthy and fit. And then the third step is you're going to teach them how to teach their people. That's how you build a business that has hundreds, let me rephrase that has thousands of coaches in your downline. It's no more work. When you look at the coaches that have 10, 20, 30,000 coaches in their downline, it's not that they're working harder. It's that they understand this philosophy. Why is this so important? First of all, you're going to help way more people, because if I focus on, all right, I'm going to get fit, and then I'm going to help others get fit, I can only help so many people, right? But if I teach others how to teach others and then it duplicates down, now I'm indirectly helping way more people than a lot. Right now it's, I don't know, I haven't checked, somewhere around like 23 or 24,000. So when you're building this way, I got all turned around. So when you're building this way, so yeah, let's like put it out there, 24,000 coaches or 23,000. I don't know the exact number right now. That's less work. I work less than somebody that's out there just running challenge groups. Truth. Because it's about duplication. It's about duplication, not just about challenge groups, but it's about duplication with leaders. And it's a lot easier to run a challenge group. It's a lot easier to get a customer than it is to get a coach. But, and this is just like off my business and all the other leaders that I've talked to and worked with, I would rather have one rock star coach than 1,000 discount coaches. You have to understand that philosophy. Super, super important. You're looking for rock star coaches. Why? Because it's a duplicatable thing. You're only looking for 5 people. Like this whole entire thing. Bob Lucido and I we had a men's retreat down in Texas, and we did a training down there. And it was really about focusing in on looking for 5 people, and that was it. 5 people that are going to run with it like you are, and you have to go through all the different levels. But what is it that you're doing? So that's a whole nother training that I can do, but I really want to answer that question. What is it that you're doing? I want to answer it for you, and I want to answer it for the customers very directly. Here's what I believe. I believe that you're changing your life. You're getting healthier, more fit, more vibrant, longevity, like the list goes on and on and on. The physical is like 1/100th of this thing. There's nothing, and we've all felt it, right? Like when you go through one of our programs, you feel good. Your endorphins are up. Like you feel better about yourself. You have more self-confidence. So that's what we're able to do for ourselves, and that's what we're able to do for our customers. Then we start getting into the coaching business, and we're able to start changing the amount of money that comes into our bank accounts. And let's be real, I'd say at least 75% of the people on the call, an extra $100 a week is a big freaking deal, right? An extra $500 a week is going to start changing things in a major way, right? I know for me it did. So that, like, when we can start doing that, and then, you know, what's really cool, when you start to bring in these other coaches, because now we're not just focused on customers. We're not just focused on discount coaches. We're focused on bringing in other coaches, helping them to make $100 a week, helping them to make an extra $200 a week. And then once they get to $500 a week, etc. You have the ability to do this. Everybody on this call has the ability to do this. It's just a tiny mindset shift. It's a tiny shift in focus to always looking for business partners. Then what happens? Now you get to the point that you start making $1,000, $2,000 a week. And then all you have to do is continue repeating that process. And then your checks start going from $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a week. Sounds crazy, right? Sounds absurd. If you believe it, and if you follow with faith, full belief, you follow along with this philosophy, it's going to happen for you. And then you know what's going to happen in your life, because this is what happened in my life. It was a shitload of work, and I had to change as a person. The Beachbody part, in all honesty, is the easy part. The work that I've done over the last 15 years to change as a person, that's the work. That's what it is. But you know what? My kids are going to grow up, and they're going to have a different childhood that I had. I drop my kids off to school every single day. I pick them up every single day. At 3 o'clock, dad's done. And dad loves them unconditionally. Mom loves them unconditionally. And they're going to grow up, and they're going to duplicate that with their kids. So what's this business about? This is the enormous. This is, you know, I got on this call, and before this call, I made a prayer. If I can get through to you, if you can really see what it is that you're sitting on, you're sitting on something that has the ability to change generations below you. That's what it is. And when you look at it that way, our petty excuses no longer matter, right? So that's what I believe that you're doing. I really do. And how do you do it? I want to, really just share a couple stories about the how do you do it. First of all, I want you to write something down, and I want you to never forget this piece. We all know the 3 vital behaviors, right? I think I want to make a few modifications to it, and you're gonna know why. I think the first one should be personal development. And I want you to understand what I mean by personal development. Personal development isn't devouring books and listening to audio tapes and all that. Personal development is finding a weakness, finding the tool, getting the education, and overcoming the weakness. So many people get caught up in, I got to read this book, I got to read that book. I did 40 books this year. Good. Did you implement any of it? I'd rather you read one book and become what was in that book, right? That's what personal development is. So that goes back to like what I was just talking about. The last 15 years, the Beachbody part was the easy part. The growth, the becoming something else is the hard part. That's what personal development is. Be a product of the product. Yeah, I think that's cool. I like that one. The third one I want to change as well. Invite, invite, invite. And here's what I believe it should be for you. And here's what I want you to commit into your mind. It's invite, invite, invite. Teach others to invite, invite, invite. And then teach others how to teach others to invite, invite, invite. Does that make sense? So the how do I do it? That is super simple. That is your business plan. And write down these 2 words, motivation and desperation. The only way to build this business in the long run is to have either motivation, desperation, or a combination of the 2. Desperation, like you're hard up, right? When I first started this business, I had just filed bankruptcy in another business. I had just filed a personal bankruptcy. I had just gotten married and just had a daughter. Like, back up against the wall, got to make shit happen, like desperate. Like, it was not pretty, but I leaned into that. So if you have that, lean into it. Like, you can't create desperation. Don't go out there and jack up your credit cards, like make yourself super desperate. But if you have it, lean into it. Inspiration, super simple in this business. Do one of the programs, start to finish, 100%, because you're not going to be able to not glow. You're not going to be able to not feel good about yourself if you do that. 21-day fix. Who here can do the 21-day fix fully, right? And if you've already done it, you know what it's like. So, I'm at a point that I don't have to do that anymore. Thank God. Cause I honestly hate doing the programs 100%. Like, I've done them a bunch of times, but I like working out for the feelings, but man, like, I don't know. There's some people, like most Beachbody coaches, like love working out. And I don't know. I just don't like it. I do it because I have to. So where was I? I don't know. Oh, I really don't know.
Keith, can I just comment on a few things? This is amazing so far, obviously. I love you. For Dara's question, is it 5 years? How long have you been coaching?
Just over 5 years. Yeah.
Okay. And I do want to address something that Carrie Sue said up here. I know she's a newer coach, and she said, I really don't know how to sell. Please teach me. So I want you to kind of talk about that, because I could preach all day long, share, 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 don't sell. I never think of this as selling, but if you could kind of talk about your view on that, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, let me just look at my notes, what I have left to go through.
Yeah, we can do it at the end.
Always have notes when you talk too. Let me just write that down. Cool. So let me just jump forward to creating a why. I'm going to make a couple changes in this call too to make sure we have enough time. So creating your why. How many people have heard, raise your hand if you've heard the burning building story? Oh, only a couple. Good. So check this out. You're driving home from work, right? And you're driving home from work, and you still have a 9-to-5 job, so that sucks. And you're driving home, and you're trying to get home, and you start to get closer to your neighborhood, and you see these fire trucks that are whizzing by you, right? And you kind of look around, you don't know what's going on, and then you realize they're actually pulling into your neighborhood. So you're still driving home. Now you start to get a little bit nervous, right? This fire truck's pulling into your neighborhood, and they're pulling down your road. So now it's like starting to get real, right? So now you start speeding up, and then you turn onto your road, and you realize that your house is on fire. So now you gas it. You go right into, pull right up onto the drive. You do one of those little bumps in, you jam that thing in park, you jump out, and you're about to start running to your house, and the firefighter puts out his arms, and he's like, you can't go in there. It's all gone. Everything's gone. And you can feel this feeling of loss, and you can feel this feeling of just this punch in the gut, right? And then all of a sudden you start to realize that it's only stuff. I can rebuild this. Maybe the pictures might be sad and stuff like that. It's only stuff though. So now another story, you're driving home, and same exact thing. You're driving down, and the fire trucks are whizzing by you, and they're the same thing. You start to pull into your neighborhood. You realize they're going into there. Then you get to your road. You realize they're going into there. So you do the same thing. You gas it. You pull up onto your front lawn. You jam that thing into park. Open up the door. You start running out. Same thing. The firefighter grabs you, and he's like, "You can't go in there. It's all going to be gone." But this time, one of your kids is inside that fire. Is there anything that's going to stop you? Is that firefighter going to be able to stop you from going in there and rescuing that kid? Right? There's nothing in the world. You're going to do whatever it takes to get in there. And a lot of us, we may have heard about a why. We may have heard a few philosophies about a why, but we don't have a real why. And I don't know what your why is. Here was what it is for me. I am scared to death of living the same life that my father lived, and I'm insanely inspired to provide for my family. And when I think about those things, it's not that my house is burning down, it's that there's big time stuff at stake. Because here's the deal, this business, you only invested what, $140, $200, and then $100 a month. You got nothing to lose. You have no skin in the game here. One of the pieces that's really tough about this business is we don't take it serious enough. What if you invested $250,000 that you don't have? But what if you had to invest $250,000? I'm going to say this without, and I want you to know it's not with any ego, but it's to prove a very strong point. To buy a McDonald's franchise, you would have to put up about $250,000. You'd also have to get at least $1 million loan, and you'd be shoveling all that crap down people's throats, right? but you're pretty much guaranteed to make an income if you do that. Like they make money. You're going to make about $250,000 a year. So you put up $250,000. After 5 years, you'll get to the point that you start making that. You have all this liability, all this debt. You still have to work 70, 80, 90 hours a week. You have all these employees, all this overhead, everything. What if I told you that there's a lot of coaches out there? There's a lot of coaches on our team who put up $140 and make 2, 3, 4 times the amount of that, and they don't have to work anymore. They don't have any overhead. They don't have any loans to pay back. They don't have any debt. They don't have any employees. And we're changing so many lives, right? So a lot of times we don't look at this for what it really is. And take that trick. I literally, in the morning, I would ask myself, if I invested $250,000 in this business, how serious would I treat it? Right? Just a simple little thing. Are you treating it like that? What if you treated it like that for just 2 years? Because that's all I think it takes. It's 2 years. This business works like this. You're rolling a boulder up a hill. It has to get to the top of the hill. And then once it gets to the top of the hill, it doesn't matter what you do anymore. Your team is going to grow no matter what. If I'm not on this call tonight, this whole team's going to grow no matter what. You guys are all going to grow no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter what I do anymore. That's how you want to build your business. One quick side note, you're pushing that boulder up the hill and you decide to stop. You don't start from the same spot. That boulder rolls back down the hill and you have to start back up again. Stopping in this business before the boulder's over the hill, very dangerous. How do I sell? So I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm going to tell you, if you guys listen to podcasts and if you're interested in meditation at all, check out Tara Brach, B-R-A-C-H. She does a meditation podcast. And I heard this story. I heard this story the other day on her podcast, and it goes like this, and it's told in first person. It's about a high school boy. He's a high school freshman. So I was walking home, or getting prepared to walk home from school one day, and as I was getting prepared to walk home, I noticed this new boy who was fumbling around with his books at his locker, and it's kind of weird. Like, he was taking all of his books out of his locker, like literally like clearing all the books out, and he's got this big stack. He's dropping a couple, and I was kind of like, this kid's kind of weird. I don't know what he's doing. And just thinking to myself. And then as I was thinking that, I saw one of the like junior or senior football players walk over, and they knocked all the books out of his hands. The books kind of splayed all over the ground. And right then, I don't know why, and I usually don't do stuff like this. So I went over there and I picked up a book, and I asked him if he was okay. And, I was like, I'm sorry for that guy. And as I was handing him the book, and I was looking up at him, and he was looking down at me, and there was just this look in his eyes, this look of like gratitude. So we actually walked home together that day, and we walked home, and even though he was a little weird and he was a little quirky, but we started to, chat, and it turned out we lived in the same neighborhood. So walked home that day, and next day we actually met and walked to school the next day, and it sort of went on, and we started to become good friends, and then we became sophomores and juniors and eventually seniors, and my new friend was sometimes I got jealous of him because he had grown into like a very attractive young man, and he was he was a football player, and he sort of had all the girls, and he was the homecoming king. And now we were getting ready for graduation, and I was going off to Yale to study to be a doctor. He was going off to Dartmouth to play football. And we found out that he was valedictorian of the class. So he was going to give a speech. And it was the day of the speech, and I noticed that he was really nervous, and I noticed that he had a lot on his mind. So I went over to him and I just sort of put my hand on his shoulder, and I was like, "You're going to do great." And he gave me that same look, this look of like gratitude, and like, you don't know how much that meant that you said that to me. So he went up on stage and he started to make his speech, and it went, I'm going to paraphrase it, but it sort of went like this. And he started talking about how this time in life is usually when you thank people that have helped you along the way. And he said, and he started going through, and he was thanking his parents and a few other adults, a few teachers he thanked. And he said, but it's really about the bonds that we form as students. And he said, never underestimate the value of just being there for someone. He said, when I was a freshman, there was one day that we had just moved into this new town, and I really didn't have an identity yet, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I was just at the lowest point in my life, and I decided that I was going to kill myself. So I went to my locker and I cleared out all the books out of my locker, and I didn't want my parents to have to clean out the locker after I did it. Like, I wanted to leave it so it was clean so they didn't have to deal with that. And then a friend of mine, and at this point he had pointed to me, and he told the story how I came over there, and I had no idea up until this point, up until he told this story, that I had had that much of an impact on him just through reaching out a helping hand. Like, I hadn't done anything but be kind. So I like that story. I like it a lot because it reminds us that we all need help. Like, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done in life. I don't care what you've accomplished. We all need somebody to help us. And the way that I honestly look at this business, that's what we're doing. Like, we're not selling anything. You guys heard my story, right? If my friend hadn't reached out to me, I wouldn't be in this position. I wouldn't be here talking right now. I wouldn't have all of the luxuries, and the only luxury after our basic needs are met, literally your basic needs are met. Don't be fooled. There is no happiness that comes with money. Here's the one thing that this business will give you. It's freedom of time. That is the only commodity that matters, because when you have that freedom, you can work on yourself. You can be a better mother, father, wife, husband, brother, sister, whatever it is. You can go and travel. You can donate your time, whatever you want to do. So how do we get around the point of feeling that we're selling somebody? Don't even look at it that way. Take yourself out of the equation, because this is an opportunity. Whether you're looking at the physical part of it with our products and programs, or you're looking at the business opportunity, this is an opportunity for somebody's life to get changed. It's not about you. You're the messenger, not. I messed that one up. It was so good. I was on such a roll, wasn't I? I don't know what I was going to say there. But you get it, right? Like, that's what it's about. We don't have the right not to share this. All right, guys. One other quick thing. I usually go into this, but let me just look this up real quick. So while I'm looking this up, how to identify and get what you really want out of life. So Heather had mentioned the podcast that I have. It's called The Business of Life, but developing your why. If you go to episode 2 of that, so again, it's The Business of Life. How how to identify and get what you really want out of life is episode number 2. That's about how to really create a why. It's super, super helpful. And then another episode that I highly recommend you check out, share both of these with your teams, with whoever like you need to get it. Number 12 is called Good Beginnings and Good Endings, and it focuses on how to start your morning and how to end your day. That is the most important time of your day. First thing you do when you get up, last thing you do. And I know you guys are going to hate me for this. If you're looking at your cell phone or any other electronic device within the first half hour or the last half hour, you're doing it wrong. So check out those 2 episodes. It's stuff that I wanted to cover, but couldn't cover it because I don't want to go over in time. But we will, let's open up for questions, and hope I didn't scare too many people away. New people are probably like, this dude's crazy. So if you have
Keith.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have a question. You spoke to me tonight. Let me just say thank you very much, because and this is to everybody, even as a 5-star diamond, 6-star qualifying, whatever I am, 2 years in the business, I struggle. I am sitting at SC6 right now. I thought I had SC8. The girl is already a customer. What do I know from 2 years ago? Whoops. So, I can go crawl on a rock, and I hit 14, 16, 20, I hit good numbers every month. So for me to be at 6, it's what's going on? And I know that sometimes hearing some things that people say, you hear them when you need to hear them. So thank you for that. But what do you say? I guess in my head, I have thoughts that I've had a couple coaches quit lately, and I never thought about quitting. Even when I was early on in the business, I knew this was going to be, it didn't matter how long this took. I was in it to win it. And I knew that I was going to put my blood, sweat, and tears into it, and I was going to make it happen no matter what. And here I am still doing that. But I do get discouraged when I hear from people on my team, or I hear from other coaches that it's too much. Do you follow what I'm saying? It's been disheartening for me. And I want to know, are there people like me in my downline that are in this, genuinely, for the long haul? Do people think like that? You've been around for 5 years, so you've seen plenty of people come and go, and the business has changed so much. So
yeah. So here's an important thing to look at. So I can give my numbers. Yeah, I'll give my real numbers because I don't know how it worked out. We bring in 600 coaches a week, but 400 a week are canceling. So, but that's still 200 a week. So it's, as long as it's growing forward, here's the reality. A third of the people you sign up are never going to do a single thing. A third of the people are going to do a little bit and quit. And a third of them are going to stay with you. That's the reality. And sometimes it's hard to take that, but the benefits are so enormous. So here's what I would say. And I recommend everyone write this down and just look at it long term. But for Dara, so hold on one sec. Here's what I think the business plan is in Beachbody to have long-term sustainable growth. I believe it's you get to 5-star. And here's where I differ from, here's where I shouldn't say from the top, what we teach on our team. You get to 5-star. The next goal, I personally believe, is 5 stars underneath you. So many people, I'm a 7-star diamond coach. I have zero desire to be a 15-star diamond. I won't go into that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but the longevity comes from duplication. So yeah, there are rock stars underneath you. Like in your position, what I would focus on for the whole next year is, can I continue to recruit at the level I was recruiting? And can I develop five stars underneath me, regardless of if they're personally sponsored? Personally sponsored doesn't mean anything because it's all about volume. So I don't know if that answered your question directly, but yes, I've had tons of people cancel and follow, and it's just part of it.
You answered it beautifully. It's actually like, maybe Heather can relate, and I'm sure you can relate. It's the struggle of, rank and volume and all those things. And I want what you have and the longevity of it and 15-star diamond and all, and what is it, going with the hype of the company. Like, oh, look at them up there. Is it about being a Beachbody celebrity or being, the mom boss celebrity that I like to be? So
yeah. And
clearly.
Here's another important thing to write down and remember, and especially for Heather, Dara, I think Catherine was on the call. If you're number one in anything, everything else in your life is suffering. If you're number one in Beachbody, how's your marriage? How's your relationship with your kids? So yeah, really. And you have to guard that yourself. Like, yeah, Beachbodies, their goal is not for, they have one goal, building a big business, right? And it's built with integrity and stuff like that, but they're not in your house, in your life. So you really have to look at all those pieces.
Yeah, and I just want to speak real quick on that. Just kind of where I am with all that. So I had wrote in the chat, I don't know how many people are looking at that, but early on, like I said, I was part of the coach training when Keith was one of the people running it. And he said to me early on in my career, he said, get to 5-star and then get those diamonds to 5-star. And, he talked about his why and that he never wanted to be a 15-star. And it's not that there's a problem with that. Like he's saying, it's just not the direction where he saw his business going, because he was growing for income, not for rank. And that's a whole nother long conversation that I know I've had with some of my coaches. I'm pushing for 10-star, but it's only because my business has grown to kind of develop into that on its own. I just naturally have these leaders, which is amazing. I have 5-star and I have a 1-star, a 2-star, and a 10-star under me, which 10-star is amazing. Kathy is incredible. And that's not really normal. She pushes hard, but yeah, I mean, honestly, the whole 5-star and get them to 5-star, I think is a really valuable mindset to get into. 15-star is amazing, but ultimately, if, like Keith's saying, if income is your thing and depending on your why and how that connects with your why, I feel like that's a really good thing to envision and work towards.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I don't have the ability to recruit. I don't like wording it that way. The way that I've built and the way that I've recruited, I didn't have a heavy recruiting machine. So I didn't have it was kind of either or. I would run both of them up at the same time. Definitely. For me, like the highest success club I've ever hit was 14. So, yeah. Cool. Who else has questions?
Yeah, there are more questions. Don't be shy, guys, because this is an amazing opportunity to have him on the call here answering for you.
I think I saw 1 or 2 questions pop up. Did Kathy, did you already answer them? We can't hear you. Your microphone's off.
Oh, here, I'm here. Yeah, I answered it. I think we're good.
Cool.
I have a question. So at your level, like I know you said you don't have to do a lot of like work, but you still go like Success Club every month. You try to get to Success, or how does that work when you're at your level?
You want the honest answer?
Yeah.
For the first 4 years, basically for the first 4 years, I hit Elite 3 years. I hit Success Club every single month. And then this year it was more about balance in my family. So balance in my family and in our business. I build my wife's account, and that doesn't count towards Success Club for me. So right now that's more important to build her account. I won't go into like the details of it. She's her team cycle bonus is way higher than her rank. So there's like a lot of stuff sitting there. I believe here's what I believe is super important. I believe that you want to hit Success Club because you want to be continually recruiting. But the bigger piece to it is whatever you do, your team's going to do. So if you think about it, like when you're hitting Success Club and then that's duplicating down and you've got 100 people on your team and 25 of them are doing the business, 25 of those people are hitting Success Club, and that's driving up. So just always keep in mind whatever you do, your team's going to do until it gets to a certain point, because like I could say you guys are on my team, but you're not. Like there's Heather's team, there's Kathy's team. Like it's, you're going to do what they're doing now.
Just reading, Jude had wrote something, it would be here. Yeah, did you see Jude? Can you see what Jude wrote, Keith? She's basically talking about how you talked about focusing on emeralds and then teaching them to build emeralds, and if that contributed to the success of your team, which yes, because it's basically building volume, like you're saying, and duplicating.
Well, yeah. Do you guys know Pete Pena? He's like one of the long lost. He's besides Janelle, he's the highest earner in the company. So it's like Janelle, Pete, Lindsay. Yeah, those are probably the three now. But Pete has like 7 business centers that are all capped out. Anyways, he's built his entire business is built off of emeralds. And the way he focuses on it is teach every person to get 2 people. Because what do you need for diamonds? Like the biggest thing you need is those 2 emeralds, right? So like 5-star diamond, 10-star diamond, like even diamond sounds like a lot, but if you're like, okay, find 2, and then do either of those guys want to work? No, they don't want to work yet. Okay, find 2 more. And then once you find one who wants to do it, you just focus on 2. So yeah, so I like that. That definitely had a huge impact. I think that the biggest impact was every 30 to 60 days finding one thing to focus on, because in order to really build a business, it's built off momentum. Like you get the herd going and everybody's marching and everybody's going in the same direction. And that's why, like, don't underestimate the power of the cups and stuff like that. Like look at I don't know if you guys know Emily Robidas. I know that Heather and Kathy do. That's how she built her whole business. 3 cups. That's it. Whole entire business is built off of that. So yeah, it's really like it's those short-term pushes. And it's okay to do like a massive push for a month and then the next month work, but breathe. Then a massive push again and breathe, because you can't just keep going. Because again, if you do, other areas of your life are going to struggle, and you may look good going and working out and doing all your diet, but how's your emotions? How's your mental state? How's all that going? I have no idea if I answered that question.
I think it was helpful. I still have to share with my team. I mentioned it to you in your message when we were talking about the call, Keith. Earlier this year, you and Bob did a call that was talking about the 3 for 3 and building emeralds. And it was an amazing call. So I'll share that with the team as well, because I found that to be super inspiring and motivating.
Cool.
Is there anything else? I don't want to keep Keith too much longer.
Thanks, Gina.
Well, that's Sorry, I'm just reading this. I think it's just a long thank you. Well, thank you so much, Keith. I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on here and talk with us. I always find you so inspiring and helpful, so I know the rest of the team will too.
Geez, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to shut this recording off and then I'll get it over to you, Heather.